Good morning and welcome to Aegis Season 3. I'm going to be going over just an introductory video about what Aegis is and what my team is about so that, if you're very new to Aegis, maybe you find this in a few weeks' time and you don't know anything about Aegis, this is for you, right? This just gives a quick explanation over everything you need to know regarding Aegis. So let's go over the table of contents. I'm first going to talk about what Aegis Esports is. I'm going to explain why I'm on the main pirates as opposed to OCE, which I've been on for the last 2 seasons. I'm going to explain what main pirate means. I'm going to say who is on the main pirates. I'm going to say what you can expect from this channel for the next 3 weeks or the next 6 weeks, depending on what happens. And then also other things you can check out if you want to know more about Aegis and be more interested in Aegis stuff. So what is Aegis Esports? Aegis Esports is an LOR team league with 32 teams. So a team is just a group of like 3 to 4 players that all like playing together, basically. But importantly, like it is a team league. Like you will need to play with a team, and the team aspect is important, right? In the group stage, there'll be 4 groups. There are 3 weeks of group stages, 1 week of play-ins, and 4 weeks of top cut. And the groups, 8 groups of 4 groups each, 4 teams each. So there will be 4 teams in each group, and they'll be in the group stages. In the group stages, there will be 3 weeks of gameplay. Each week, you will do 3 matches. So there will be 3 individual best of 3s against another team, and the person with the team with the most best of 3 wins, and you'll do that twice. So my team, for example, is called the Main Pirates. I might be fighting a team called like Lunatic Fringe, for example. 3 of my members will fight 3 of their members, right? Just like in BO3s between the 2 of them. And if, we get 2 BO3 wins and Lunatic Fringe gets 1 BO3 wins, we win the most BO3s, and therefore we have won this like BO3 of BO3s. That'll be like match 1, then the second match that week we'll fight a different team, say Froggy Esports. And then in match 3 we will fight, we'll do a collab set, which means instead of doing 3 different BO3s, there's just 1 BO3, but in a team call. So, my teammates can tell me what plays I should make, and you can discuss what is like the best play. And that'll happen against the 3rd team. And then the next week we'll do the same thing. There'll be 2 individual best of 3s, blah, 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 blah. And that'll happen for 3 weeks in a row. And then the top seed gets guaranteedly put into top cut. So, there are 4 teams in each group. The team that is first out of the 4 goes into top cut. 2 and 3 do an extra week where they fight all the other 2 and 3s. And the best 8 of the 16 2 or 3s, if you're following along, will make it also into top cut. So then there'll be 16 teams in top cut, and then there'll be a double elimination team-based tournament. It's a little bit confusing, and there should be videos somewhere that explains it into a little bit more detail, but I hope this gives like a general premise of what's going on. So there are 3 weeks of group stages where you fight teams within your group. Then if you're 2nd and 3rd, you get to do play-ins to see who makes it into top cut with the first seeds, and then you've got 8 first seeds, you've got 16 first seeds, the people that got first from the groups, and the people who won the double elimination bracket from the play-ins. I am on Main Pirates versus OCE. Anymore is an awful person who has stolen my delectable Spanish pastries. This isn't true. What happened was that, Annie said, "Are we going to be part of OCE?" I said, "Probably." And then I got a message from like Donut, and Donut was like, "Hey, if you want to join my team, feel free." And I'm like, "Oh God, I have to make a decision. I like both of these people. I like Anniemore's team and I like Donut's team. Whatever will I do?" And I spent like days thinking about this. Like this was like a difficult decision. I like a lot of my friends. And what ended up happening was that in my brain, I was like, I don't know, when I try and like figure out what I want to do with stuff, I just like have arguments with myself. Like I create straw men, and they ask me questions and they give me all the arguments I need. And one of the straw men was like a fake version of Donut. And Donut in my brain asked me, "Okay, Spidz, I don't mind what team you're on, but what would your ideal team look like?" And so my vision of Donut was expecting my answer to be a mix of both Donut's team and Annie's team, right? Like, say, 2 members from Donut's team, 2 members from Annie's team, right? That's what I expected my fake version of Donut to say back to me. And so, because that's what I expected Donut to think, my immediate instinct is to be, like, contrarian and be like, "Haha, Donut, I'm going to say an answer that isn't correct just to make fun of you," right? And so my joke answer was that I was going to play with my partner. Because my partner introduced me to LOR like 2.5 years ago or whatever. Like my partner, I guess it's close to 3 now. I know. My partner is the person that like introduced me to LOR. So I was like, haha, if I'm going to be on a team with anyone, I'm just going to be with my partner. And this was like a joke answer I was giving to fake Donut, who was not expecting this answer to be correct. And then I thought about it more and I was like, hey, hold on, this is a good idea. That's not the right slide. So I decided to ask my partner, do you want to be on a team with me? And he was like, yeah, sure, why not? That's why, right? So the point of the team is not actually as much to win. Rome has never been part of a competitive tournament before. He has been interested. He's played competitive games before. I think he played like Smash Ultimate competitively at a certain point. And he's always been like pretty interested in LOR. Like he really likes LOR more than I do, right? And he's the one that got me into the game. And he plays it, more than I. He's a big fan of the game. And so I thought, if Roma wants to like learn tournaments, like he wants to start being in tournaments, we should be on a team together. And so that's where the main pirate started, right? It's not as much like I'm going to, try something new to be like a much stronger team, right? Like if I wanted to pick the strongest team, I would probably like, yell at Aragon and like, Alan and like pay them millions and millions of dollars and go bankrupt, but eventually have a better team. This team is like to introduce Roma to tournament structures. What does the main pirates mean, if you're curious? So Roma and I met in the community of a game called Plants vs Zombies Heroes, which is another card game. It's the only card game I've really other played. It's the only card game I've really other played. It's the only other card game I've really other played. Jesus, it's the only other card game I've played, and so there's a joke within that community about the main pirate, right? So there's this unit, it's called Swashbuckler Zombie. It's a 2-mana 2/2, and he basically says when a pirate hurts the enemy nexus, that pirate gets +1/+1, right? So it's like pirate synergy. It's very explicit pirate synergy. And the way this game works is like all the tribals have like 2 to 3 like explicit tribal synergy cards, right? So another one is like Toxic Waste Imp that says all imps have Death Touch from Magic. Right? There's all of these like main like synergy cards, right? But Swashbuckler Zombie is just like not a good card. Basically in Pirates decks, most people think is not a good card, and like he's understated and he gets, killed, and then because there's no such thing as like a backline champion in this game, you can't like not put Swashbuckler Zombie into combat. By playing him, he is always in combat, he can always be removed. And so this card isn't particularly good, but he's like the main pirate. He does all the pirate stuff. He's a pirate. And so this card is called the main pirate. And a good like comparison point is if people called Papyro the Great like the main yordle, because he's the yordle. He does all the yordle synergy. He does all the yordle stuff. And then everyone calls him the main yordle. And then when people build yordle decks, they're like, hey, where's Papyro? He's the main yordle, even if Papyro isn't a particularly good card. That's basically the joke. And it's a very common joke in the Plants vs Zombies Heroes community. Like everyone calls this card the main pirate because it's the main pirate, even if it's not very good. So that's where the joke of main pirates comes from. It's the Plants vs Zombies joke. There's a few other jokes we could have done, but this is the one we went with. Who's in the main pirates? It's me. It's Gemsy, who you might know as TKG Randomizer. He's been a friend of mine since before LOR as well, and he's been a good friend of mine and part of the Plants vs Zombies team. And then Roma, aka my partner, who was like the main reason again why this team is occurring, just because I wanted to introduce him to tournaments. And I hope he enjoys it. Now, if one of us can't play, I'll probably employ Cope Robomaster from EU to join us. He said he's okay with this. I haven't put him on the sheet because my hope is that he doesn't have to play. And the Discord that Gamesy, Roma, and I in are like it's pretty private, so I'd have to make a new one for Robomaster to join and all that sort of stuff. And like it's fine. Like I like Robomaster. He's a good person. But I really just want to like play with Gamesy and Roma. Like that's the main point of this team. And this isn't like a winning team. We could honestly just come fourth in the group. I don't really mind too much. I just want to like practice scrimming with Roma. That's like the main point of the team. What can you expect from Spidz Youtube Aegis? Unlike CDS, you're not going to get like montages or anything. They were fun and I enjoy them, but like I want to try different things. Like I want to be more interesting and creative with a lot of the stuff I've been doing. And the montages are fun. They're good fun, but I want to do other things in terms of like time put into like producing content. So you're not going to get montages from the Aegis stuff. I'll go over like the logic for each week's lineup, and then I'll go over the games and mention plays that are interesting, either due to misplay or logic or whatever, sort of like what I did last Aegis season. But that's going to be it. There's not going to be any like cool montage, epic art, hell yeah nonsense. A lot of those resources are going to be put into something else, other LOR or non-LOR projects that I think are more interesting for youtube.com. If you haven't seen these, I recommend watching Cephalopod's introductory video about all the Aegis teams. He goes over every single Aegis team and tells you like who the main players are, what you should be wary of, any sort of like important notes you need to know about them if you're just like a spectator and you don't really know all the people in the teams. And you can also read Stolen Conch's Twit longer, who also describes all the team until like halfway through, and then you remember like it's Stolen Conch writing them, and he just writes stuff like, Kobachi, his name is weird to type. I don't like that. He's getting deranked. That sort of stuff. So yeah, that's it. Bye.